Are you someone who does lots of different things and you're struggling because you don't know whether you should niche down or not? Then this video is for you. I'm Rebecca from Same Same Studio, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about what a creative generalist is, why I don't think you should do that, and why niching down might be a better path for you as a designer. So when we founded Same Same Studio, we did everything. Basically, we took on any project. This meant logos, this meant websites, festival design, which included a lot of print design, posters, banners, all sorts of different things. And while yes, it meant we could take on pretty much any client, it also meant that we were scattered in many ways, not just physically because we were doing so many different things, but also mentally because we could never really focus on one particular thing. So what is a creative generalist and why am I talking about this at all? So there's a lot of people online who are maybe generalists themselves or people who are talking about what a creative generalist is. And basically my understanding of it, and this is also the assumption I'm going to use for the rest of the video, is that a creative generalist is somebody who does many different creative things. Like, for example, they offer branding, they offer web design, they may even offer web development, or at least building a website. They might offer illustration, photography, video editing, motion design, and maybe not all of those services, but let's say they offer at least like 4 to 5 of those things. So let's talk about the pros of being a creative generalist first. While yes, I'm not a fan of it, I do see some benefits being a creative generalist. So one pro is that if you are someone who gets bored doing the same thing every day or focusing on one thing and going in depth with that thing, then a creative generalist approach could be right for you. Why? Because you are probably going to be getting projects in lots of different areas, meaning one day you will be doing logo design, another day you will be building a website for somebody, and on another day you might be doing email templates or going somewhere to do photography, being there physically and being involved in the actual taking photos, which if you're someone who likes to get out of do a 9 to 5 sitting at a desk, that can be beneficial for you. Another type of person that would thrive doing creative generalist work is someone who is good at a lot of different things and feels like they can be useful in lots of different scenarios. What does this mean? Maybe you're someone who likes to do a lot of thinking, a lot of management, a lot of planning. Then you are someone who could be a creative generalist and maybe you don't execute every single thing, but instead you have a deep understanding of many different things and you're able to hire the right person and you're able to direct them for each project. There are benefits to doing it that way because then you can keep the client, you can say, yes, I can offer all of these services, and then you just find the right people for each project. That's probably the approach that would be the most successful if you want to be a creative generalist and you want to position yourself that way, because a lot of clients love going to a one-stop shop. They go to one person, they know they're going to get everything. They will get branding, website, photos done, and they don't have to worry about finding one person for each thing. I personally think that someone who positions themselves as a creative generalist and does it that way is going to probably be successful, and I see that also as a legitimate way to make good money. But if you are someone who is positioning themselves as someone doing the execution of every single thing, this means you are doing illustration, you are doing photography, you're doing brand strategy, you're doing branding, you're doing web design, you're doing web building. And I'm going to say building because I find it very highly unlikely that someone doing all of those things can also do web development. But hey, maybe you even do that well. I'm not going to question that. What I want to say is that if you are doing all of these things, I find it very unrealistic that you are an expert in every single field. There is a reason why people specialize. There's a reason why experts are highly valued, and it is because it is very logical. If someone focuses their energy on one single thing, they are going to have a very in-depth knowledge of that thing. So if we take us, for example, we are a web design and web development agency. Yes, we offer two things that I don't think that necessarily one person can do, but we are two people and we have a team. So that is something different. If you're one single person and you focus your energy on web development, you could go as far and say you also focus on web design, be an expert in that, build your expertise in the aesthetics and front end visual side of things. And then of course you can be a web designer and a web developer. But those two things are very close together. If you say you are, let's say, a logo designer and you also do web development, that's something where I start to feel like it's going to be very difficult for you to have a deep knowledge of branding and logos, and then also a deep knowledge of web development. There are a lot of designers out there that say they do websites, but they actually mostly do branding and they offer websites as a package. But if you look at those websites, they are often very generic, they are very template based, they are not something that's custom, and that's also okay, that's totally fine, but it needs to be clear to you that if you're offering these services and you are falling back on things like template builders, that you cannot offer a lot of money for that. Someone who does custom development is going to be positioning themselves in a way that clients with bigger budgets are going to come to them and they're going to spend a lot of money on the web development. There's nothing wrong with being a generalist. There is nothing wrong with having lower budgets. But if you are constantly in a cycle of feeling like you are having to do a lot of different things and a lot of different projects at the same time to make ends meet or to make a profit, then maybe you should think about focusing your energy on a couple of those things, raising your prices because you build expertise in that area, and then you will be able to take on less work for higher prices and you will probably have a better work-life balance. And I'm saying this not because I'm telling you what to do, but that was our lived experience. And I know that it's the experience of a lot of other designers out there. So let's talk about how niching down can change your business and your pricing. So let's look at this from a client's perspective. Let's say it's a client that isn't the bakery around the corner, but it's a client that has a product that is successful and they're ready to take their business to the next level and they need a really bespoke branding and it needs to be really solid. It needs to live within their business requirements. It has to have a strategy. Are they going to go to a freelancer offering 10 different services where one of them is branding? Or are they going to go to a branding agency or a freelancer or a creative business that focuses on branding only? The obvious answer to this is that they are going to go to the specialist. Why? Because one, they are ready to invest in this thing. Two, they want someone they can trust. And three, they want an experience that is super specific to their brand, and they want someone who's going to spend their entire energy and focus on that. And someone who's doing 10 different things for a client, when they're looking at that, that's going to be a red flag to them. By niching down and specializing in one thing, you become the obvious choice to a lot of clients. And while yes, you won't be attracting the one-stop shop client anymore, you will be attracting other clients and you won't be closing doors by doing this. By being the specialist, you can also raise your prices because those are the prices someone expects from a specialist. And here's the thing, a lot of people hear niching down, and a lot of criticism I see online about niching down and why the creative generalist approach has become better alternative in a lot of spaces is that a lot of people see niching down as something limiting, but it isn't. It isn't one-dimensional. Just because you only offer web design doesn't mean you only offer web design. If you offer web design as your main service, you can go into depth with that. What does that mean? That means thinking about things like user experience, user testing, analytics, understanding accessibility, understanding development, so you know how to do custom design in a way that a developer can take that design and actually execute it the way it was intended. These are things that not every web designer understands, because if you are offering web design as one of 10 other services, you don't have the time to build that expertise. So should you ever be a generalist? I know in this video it's probably obvious that I don't agree with the generalist approach. However, I do agree with the approach when you're just starting out. So for example, when we started our studio, we tried out a lot of different things. We also positioned ourselves as an agency that does a lot of different things. And that was beneficial for us because we were able to learn pretty quickly what are the things that we enjoy doing, what are the things that we don't enjoy doing, what are the things that we are really good at. And during that time, we noticed we are really good at doing web design, web development. We really enjoy doing those things, and everything else, especially especially anything to do with print, was too much for us. We just didn't want to go into depth in those areas because it didn't interest us enough. And like I said earlier, I also think being a generalist, positioning yourself as that, as a single person, creative business, is totally fine if you're prepared to hire experts for things that you can't do very well or don't really want to do. That's something different. I wouldn't even call those people creative generalists. I feel like those people are actually project managers, and they're very good at understanding different fields, and they're very good at applying that in direction of experts who do the work and do the execution. It doesn't mean that they need to execute the work well or even offer that as a service. If you are someone who is doing a lot of different things and you're executing a lot of different things, I personally think the goal should be to refine a few of those skills and really go into depth in a few of those fields that you feel really passionate about. This will not only make your work better, it will make your value increase, and this means that clients are going to pay more for your work. So no shade to generalists, and I know that some people thrive doing that, and that is totally fine and valid. But for most creatives, trying to grow a sustainable business is only going to work once you niche down and you gain clarity in something, you gain confidence in something, you gain experience with something, and all of these things are leverage that you can use to raise your prices. And in a world where AI is starting to replace us, and I have another video on that on our channel, so go check that out. You don't want to be the person who is only executing a lot of little things that don't go into very much depth. If you are a specialist who can solve real business problems, you are going to be able to stand out. Because the truth is, a generalist is always going to be undervalued by a client, and not because they are necessarily bad at what they do, but because a generalist is everything and nothing at the same time. And a client doesn't want to pay top dollar for that. So leave a comment if you feel like generalists are better than people who niche down. Which team are you on? And if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, check out our channel, and if you like that content, subscribe.